Mason, welcome back to Caravan of Garbage. Welcome to everybody to Caravan of Garbage.
Thank you, and on behalf of everyone, no thank you.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, Mason, the probably reason why you and everybody are saying all of that at me at once is because we're talking about the Star Wars Holiday Special. It's the holiday season.
Yes.
There's cheer in the air. We gave the Star Wars Holiday Special a watch in full. We did an audio commentary track, which you can find links below. It's impossibly bad, isn't it?
It's so bad. I thought it'd be... I had an expectation, because I've seen variety shows before, like a charity variety show.
Yeah, right.
It'll be like a brisk, campy, kind of fun... quick thing. First of all, it's not a quick thing, and you tricked me.
That's got to do with George Lucas, apparently. Well, there's a lot of rumors about how it got started. But George Lucas insisted they set it around this Wookiee holiday called Life Day, which we'll get to in terms of what does that even mean. So the main characters aren't the Star Wars characters. It's Wookiees from Chewie's family just growling at each other for the majority of...
For sure.
With no subtitles.
Not in English, yeah.
And which again was apparently George Lucas's decision. And it does actually borrow footage from the movies.
Yes, it does.
Like, it opens with Han Solo leaving, it looks like Tatooine. It's the scene where they're leaving Tatooine from the film. And they're being chased by the Star Destroyers. And we couldn't work out whether the set they're in was rebuilt for television or it's just a really poorly lit version.
I think maybe it's
from
that.
the movie. Yeah.
And also, when you think
it's
of...
very shaky.
When you think of the
well.
Millennium Falcon cockpit set, I think often the doors, like the cockpit door is open and you can see what's happening behind, but there was just a closed door. Like they'd clearly just, it was in a closet somewhere.
Yeah,
they were just like, all right. Anyway,
we just paper this off, right?
So anyway, I looked it up on Wikipedia just now. It's a 1978 American musical science fiction television film set in the Star Wars galaxy. That is very generous to say it's a musical science fiction television film. But that's right, that's what I was saying. Like, with it, when I think of a variety show or a musical, right, there's a charismatic host, and they keep it going. He's wearing a big floppy tuxedo kind of thing, a frilly tuxedo.
He's got a really long microphone with a little ball on the end.
Exactly, and he's a bit camp, and he's keeping it going, and then you see an off-color comedian, and then he gets off, and then you see a band or whatever. And if you don't like something in it, doesn't matter, you wait 4 minutes and it's gone.
Or turn over to the other channel.
Exactly. And there's a brand new thing. But with this, it's not that. It's just interminable narrative and then the most bizarre segue into a variety segment imaginable every time.
Yeah.
And then back to the story.
The story being Chewbacca has to get home for Life Day.
Yes.
Which is apparently a universe-wide event. Apparently it's not just a Wookiee thing.
I see.
And so people are kind of worried, like, are the Empire going to get him or whatever, because Han Solo's flying him back because Han Solo promised that he'd get there for Life Day or whatever. In between that, the family of Chewbacca, which is a kid called Lumpy, his wife and his sexually aggressive father.
He's got 2 family members named after the symptoms of STIs, which I feel is a mistake.
And whenever they need to kind of segue out, they'll open a different screen or hologram table in their house.
Yes.
And then a really boring thing will unfold in front
the variety
of them.
that we were hoping for.
We get like a weird 1970s Cirque du Soleil thing, but it's just people doing cartwheels and juggling. It's very boring.
And they were clearly doing it on a green screen because they then had to be put into the hologram chessboard.
Yeah.
We get...
And as I said, as we were doing it, I'm not impressed by that. It takes... And I know it's hard to do a cartwheel or a flip or juggle. I can't do any of that stuff. But it's the most boring thing in the world to watch. And there's also a weird semi-pornographic VR machine.
Oh, that's right.
Which the grandpa watches.
Puts his head in the VR machine.
Yep.
Which I guess was ahead of its time. Do you think there were people in the real world who were like, reality, pornography machines? Let's do this. But he puts that on and then he views like a human woman in a sparkly wig do like a...
She does a bit of a monologue and then
an erotic dance.
And then an erotic song.
Yeah.
And he's very impressed by it. But this is also a universe where... interspecies stuff does happen. Jabba's got human women dancing.
Yeah.
Apparently, also, George Lucas, one of the notes was they were going to make Han Solo's wife a Wookiee. That was something they were going to make canonical.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to the Wikipedia for this.
The Wikipedia?
No, the Wikipedia.
Okay, I'm sorry.
How dare you. Okay, you're right. His father's Itchy, his wife's Mala, and his son is Lumpy. Although these names were later explained to have been nicknames. Their full names being Atachikuk, Malatabuk, and Lumporump, respectively.
I
What do you
can see
reckon
why
about that?
I can see why they shortened
Makes
it.
more sense, right?
Yeah,
Makes much
absolutely
more
it
sense.
does, yeah.
The program also features many other Star Wars characters, allegedly.
Well, that's the thing. For a Star Wars holiday special, there's not a lot of Star Wars in it. There's a deleted scene from the original Star Wars of James Earl Jones being like, "Find the rebels. Where are they?" And it's clearly just from the movie, and they've just inserted it in. They've got a television in their house that is a direct feed to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, so Chewbacca's family are looking for Chewbacca, and they're desperate to find him because he's flying through deep space. They don't know where he is. So they call every one of his friends. In order to call each of his friends, they have an individual television device for each of these communications, which is great. That's a very 1970s way of thinking about things.
Yeah.
The only direct connection they don't have is to the Millennium Falcon, which is weird.
You'd think
right?
that would be the one. They also call Princess Leia, and she's just on like an old electronic adding machine.
Yeah, right.
Just kind of tapping away doing the rebellion taxes with C-3PO in just a grey room.
Yeah, so good. And she's drunk.
And
she's very
drunk.
obviously drunk
She's
for
so
most
drunk,
of it.
yeah. But the highlight of this for me is there's an animated segment in the middle.
Yes.
Probably 6 or 7 minutes that Chewbacca's son watches on a television screen while the Imperials are raiding
It's
their
his
home.
life day gift.
It's his life day gift, but so I guess in the Star Wars universe, there's a Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca animated series.
Yeah, there is,
because
yeah.
it's not set. Because it wasn't just, this is an adventure that they're going on while they're trying to get back to Life Day. It's just a side story, which is apparently a public broadcast.
Yeah, right.
And it introduces Boba Fett and the funniest looking Han Solo face I think I've ever seen.
Yep.
It's just real elongated. What did you call it? Like a Hunter S. Thompson.
It's like that. It's like a Ralph
nightmare.
Steadman, just bizarre, like LSD acid trip, weird art that you see on the covers of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's what the animation look. It's actually kind of cool.
I like it.
It's Pink Floyd, The Wall kind of just psychotropic weird stuff.
And you could have just shown that.
Oh yeah.
There's so much that could be cut out of this, but you could really just whittle it down to just this, and I think kids would have been happy with that. But you gotta keep everybody's attention for an hour and a half or whatever.
But that's the thing, like, it features many other Star Wars characters. I assumed that there'd be like sketches and they'd be in and out of
like
character.
when they're on the Muppets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, it'd be parody sketches or whatever.
Sure.
But there was none of that. They weren't even all together.
There's also the introduction of a very early Lando Calrissian-esque character, which apparently they were kind of
The
testing
smoothest
out.
man in the galaxy. But rather than him being played by
Billy D.
Williams, he was played by Art Carney.
He's got a velvet shirt
Yeah.
open to his belly button.
And a vest. And Art Carney, we learned, was like the Barney Rubble character in The Honeymooners.
Yeah, right. And we think he peddles pornography. We think that's his job.
Not the actor, he's dead.
No,
he can't
did.
do that anymore. But the character. There's a weird Julia Child cooking segment.
Oh, with a four-armed robot.
With a four-armed robot lady, played by a man.
It's a funny sketch though, isn't it?
See, that's the thing. It's a mystery to me because it was not funny. Just to clarify, we haven't suffered some massive brain injury. We didn't think it was funny.
Yeah.
But was it funny in 1978?
I don't think so. Because there were no jokes.
Maybe that performance was like a really nuanced satire of cooking shows at the time, and people watch it were like, "Ah, they're still
Very
just
good.
like it. Just like on Earth,
Yeah.
but on space."
And probably the worst one is just a very old man who's also a stuttering robot trying to explain how to get some device working.
Oh, I forgot about
and he's
that.
breaking down as he's doing it, so his tongue's doing like a weird
It was like an
clickety-clack.
info. See, that's the thing. I think that was an infomercial parody. I think people would have been rolling the aisles.
So
like,
these are jokes.
I think they're jokes.
Amazing.
Pretty good, right?
Like the budget, right?
Yes.
I kept on insisting that there was money behind this,
Yes.
and you were
I
saying
said
that-
no. I said whatever was left over.
But there's a beautiful esque piece of Ralph McQuarrie art that they used for the Planet of Kazook.
as poor green screening.
Yeah, but it doesn't. When I say beautiful, it's not great, is it?
Fine.
That's apparently a 360-degree set that they're filming on.
Wow.
And the director also got fired a few days in because he's like, I can't make this work.
Right.
And the guy who wrote it was also, as it's since admitted, that it was a cocaine-fueled writing session.
Oh, for sure.
Which explains quite a bit. Also, you know how George Lucas has said, if I had the time or money, I'd track down every copy of it and smash it with a hammer. Apparently, they were sending him dailies. I mean, he was in the midst of making Empire Strikes Back at that point.
Right.
But he did approve a lot of this stuff before it kind of happened. But it was also a lesson in terms of handing over the Star Wars brand.
Yeah.
And him being more kind of tightly controlling what went out.
Right,
Which I think
okay.
is a valuable lesson.
Sure, yeah.
From all of this.
Yeah, so if anything, it at least gave us the prequels.
Yes.
Because he had the tightest possible control of... Yeah.
The Imperials eventually leave. One of them is also one of the Death Star operators, because I guess they just had that costume.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
So he's just wandering about on the set. But one of the stormtroopers stays behind, and then that's when Han Solo and Chewbacca turn up, and Han Solo kind of fakes one into falling off the balcony and falling to his death. And then the Imperials ring the house and be like, "Hey, what's going on? One of the stormtroopers has disappeared." And Art Carney, the smoothest operator in the galaxy,
the slipperiest of eels.
gets on one of the 6 communication devices and goes, "Yeah, he just stole a bunch of supplies and then he abandoned the Empire and he left." And they're just like, "Oh, okay, we won't look further into this."
Yep.
Also, we visit the Mos Eisley Cantina, sort of.
We do, yeah. But it seems to be the other side of the Mos Eisley Cantina.
I think it's supposed to be the same one.
Okay.
I don't know.
The devil's there.
The devil's there.
Devil's back.
That guy who gets his arm cut off is there, but he's got both of his arms. There's a couple of Greedos thrown into the mix.
There is.
And there's also the bartender is...
B. Arthur.
B. Arthur
the
from...
Golden Girl's own B. Arthur.
She sings a very boring song about getting everyone out of the bar.
No. The Wikipedia says she sings a fun song.
No.
It literally says she sings a fun song.
Okay, right.
Good night, but not goodbye, set to the Cantina band theme.
But this is bookended by a man with a hole in his head who he pours dirty water into.
Yeah. It's
Harassing
She's been... But also, they're watching it on the screen. So it's...
it's also a live broadcast.
It's some sort of live broadcast into the life of bartender B. Arthur, who is being harassed by either an ex-boyfriend or just like a drunken rando at the bar who clearly has some sort of connection with her. But anyway, he's got a giant hole in his head through which he drinks.
He gets hands...
Not his mouth.
No, he goes...
To the top of his head.
He goes behind the bar and like grabs her.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, when she finally shuffles everybody out, she's like, "Thank God my work's over." Then he pops up from behind the bar and then the whole thing just ominously ends. Okay. So we don't know, like, does he murder her?
Yeah, right.
Is there a scuffle?
Yep.
How does that go?
Absolutely.
There's no follow-up because this was going to be an ongoing TV series. It was a pilot as well.
Wait, which part?
All of it. The whole thing.
Wow.
It was going to be... they were going to continue it. What's Life Day, Mason? What's that about? How do they get to Life Day?
Wait, they hold some orbs.
Hold some orbs up in the air. They're transported into another dimension or deep space.
Or the sun, possibly.
And then they walk through a portal.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, they're at the base of a really big tree.
They're all wearing robes. Yes.
And then Carrie Fisher, who insisted on singing in this special, sings sings a Life Day song set to the Star Wars theme song.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it is atrocious.
It's really...
And it just cuts to the different actors standing on you. It cuts to Harrison Ford and you...
He's got a regret face you would not believe.
It's-
Like, that's the thing. I think for the most part, the 2 or 3 minutes he's in this, for the most part, he's committed to it. But at the end, you can clearly see the realization kick in that what he's in is very bad, and this might be his legacy forever.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
This is the moment where
It
he's
could have
like,
been.
if I don't do another movie after this, I might be remembered as this weird guy, but the last thing I ever did was hold a glowing orb and look sad.
And also Luke Skywalker's there and he's got an inch of makeup on because Mark Hamill had a really bad car accident in between movies. And it's just a tough watch, man.
I guess my takeaway from this is the Star Wars theme exists in the Star Wars universe.
Sure, yeah. It does. Also, this whole thing just starts wrong. It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but it's in a different text, and the Star Wars music kicks in immediately. So it's off to a very bad start from
But
the
like
from
I
the
said,
very start.
they were still figuring out the tropes at this point.
That's right.
There were only one movie in, so why not mix it up?
If you do want to know more about it, though, Scott over at NerdSync did a really kind of in-depth breakdown of how this happened and the version they nearly
good.
made, which is definitely worth checking out. But also, like I said, that commentary track is also a thing. Thank you, Ben, for editing footage to this. We hope it was as fun as...
Watching the
Just
Star
don't-
Wars Holiday
yeah.
Special multiple times, which you had to do to make this. Bless you, sir.
You can find us every week, everybody, on Weekly Planet Podcast. It's available on iTunes.
Weekly Planet Podcast.
On Weekly Planet Podcast.
Okay, great.
And also, there's videos on this YouTube channel every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Mason, you're at Wikipedia Brown, aren't you?
That's correct, on
Mr.
Twitters.
Sunday Movies. Please have a safe and happy holidays.
Special.
I'm changing it back from Merry Christmas. I know Merry Christmas is brought back,
Yep.
Mason, but I'm taking it back.
Get rid of it again. If you've said Merry Christmas in the last couple of days, you're going to jail.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, grab that jammy, guys. We'll see you later.
Bye.